Hello everyone, this is Spliced, and welcome to my full Caustic guide. I've been playing this character since the beginning of the release of Apex Legends, and I'm not going to claim I know everything about this character, but I will share everything that I do know with you guys so that you can get a good grip on this character and understand how to play him and everything about his playstyle and abilities. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So before we get into how to play the Caustic, we have to learn about the abilities. If you guys already know everything about Caustic in terms of these simple basic abilities, then feel free to skip ahead in the video to the tips and tricks area. But for those who don't actually have played this character before but actually want to try him, basically he knocks his gas traps, which is his tactical cue, where he puts down these traps that if people walk by, it will trigger them. You can also shoot them that will detonate the trap. But there's also a small part at the bottom of the trap that if you shoot it, it will destroy the trap completely. A lot of players are catching on to this and they're using that to their potential and they're getting rid of traps without a problem. So sometimes when enemies are coming around the corner, you want to shoot these traps to make sure that they will not be destroyed. His ultimate is like a trap, but it explodes into a bigger radius and it's a grenade, so you can throw it to wherever you want and it will blow up after 1 second of being thrown. It lasts for quite a long time, and you can sit in it if you're the Caustic. It will not do anything to you. Unfortunately, it does slow down your teammates and blur them, but it does not damage them. The damage only works against the enemies, and the passive is if the enemies are in your Noxus gas, you can actually see them wherever they are. Unlike most characters in this game, the Caustic is actually a defensive character, but also super situational. The way you want to play him is you want the enemies to aggress on you in places that you want them to aggress into. Short corridors and choke points are a very good essential area, but also buildings is a really good place to lock down. If you throw a trap in front of a door, the enemy won't be able to open the door. They'll have to break down the door, then shoot the trap in order to get to you. But even when they break down the door, then the trap will activate and they have to wait up to 10 seconds for the trap to go away, which is pretty amazing. So you can keep a good defense line if you're trying to stay inside of a building, and then you can shoot out on them. That's all there really is to know about the basic knowledge of the character. We're now going to move on to the tips and tricks that I've learned and have picked up from other people, and I'm going to share as much as I know about this character with you guys today. So the first thing we're going to do before we go into the tips and tricks is we're going to look at how the traps and how exactly they work, just to quickly get you guys into the loop of it of understanding. So if we shoot at the red part of the bag all the way to the top, it will activate the trap. However, if you shoot the bottom part where the red ring is, it will destroy the trap immediately without it detonating at all. This can work for both teammates and enemies. As you can see, when you shoot the trap, you can run through it without a problem and you don't take any damage and you're not slowed if you're the Caustic. And as you can see, if you shoot the bottom of this trap right here on the red ring, it will destroy the trap immediately. Enemies can do this and people are learning this really quickly. I just wanted to let you guys know about this. Now for the first tip, if you did not know, if you have the legendary holographic sight, the 1x digital threat, or the sniper sight, if you activate the trap for both Bangalore, if you throw her smoke, or if you shoot a Caustic trap or throw his ult, you can see right through it where the enemies are. They will be completely highlighted through the smoke. This is a very tactical way of detonating your own trap, so then you will be protected by a clouded shroud of smoke, but you can still see the enemies. Next, we're going to look at placing a trap behind you while you're running. So when you're going to a certain objective, if you're going to a different part of the map, make sure you're always periodically placing traps behind you. But not anywhere. Make sure you put them in chokeholds and specific points where enemies will not be able to see them, but they will go through them and almost certainly detonate them. The reason why this is important is because when enemies detonate your traps, no matter where they are, you can see the damage ticks on the map, and you can also see a crosshair going on your screen, so you can see exactly where they are, and you can go back and try to take them out. Or it alerts you that enemies are coming behind you and you need to get ready for them. So as you can see, as an enemy walks through where your traps have been placed, the chances of them seeing them are a little bit low if they run right through, which will detonate it almost certainly, which will then do the damage, which will then you will be able to follow up by making a decision of going back or letting your team know that there are enemies behind. Next, we're going to look at door blocking. If you throw a trap in front of a door, an enemy will not be able to open it at all. They'll try to open it, it will not go. The only way for them to get through is by breaking the door. However, if they do break the door, it will activate the trap due to its radius, which means that the trap will activate and they will have to wait for the seconds to go by before they can get through. If they destroy it with a gun, however, then they will be able to destroy the trap from a distance. Regardless, it does delay the enemy from getting through the door. And for the final tip, this is more of a factual thing to know. If there is an enemy caustic trap and it is activated in any way, if an enemy's caustic teammate runs through it, you as a caustic can also see the enemy walking through their own teammate's trap. It doesn't make any sense to me, but you can, and you'll be able to shoot the enemy. You as a caustic and an enemy caustic share the same properties. This also includes walking through an enemy caustic's trap without being hindered at all. However, an enemy caustic will still be able to see you in the smoke. One of the places that caustic actually thrives a lot in is bunker, since it's a huge chokehold and it's a very linear place. They have no choice but to activate the trap if everyone's rushing into bunker. As soon as you land, you go and put down your traps right behind you, so anyone who's behind you will not be able to follow you in. You'll then have to go and take out all the enemies who did get ahead of you. However, if you throw traps in front of them and you block the door, they will also not be able to get to their weapons. So it's a very tactical thing you have to do in the moment to get the traps to make sure that they don't get to the weapons and you get to them first. And finally, despite what you might think, the caustic thrives the most on the flying fortress in the beginning, or even in later times. The reason is because if you rush to the bottom immediately, as you can see on the screen here, you can get all the loot below, and you have traps placed that will stop the enemies from rushing towards you. They will all slow down, and you get all the advantages of the traps, and they're all going to be in the middle of it, and you can destroy all the enemies that are near you. I've done this multiple times on the ship, and I've succeeded about 90% of the time on the ship with this strategy. So try it yourself and see if it works out. So that's about it for the caustic. In conclusion, there isn't really much to go with this character, to be honest. He's not really the best. He has a really high hitbox because of how big he is, and he's a defensive character. He doesn't have any moves that increases his mobility or speed in any way, so you're just going to have to deal with the natural movement that he has. With that being said, I hope you guys do enjoy. I hope you guys did learn something about this character, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.